Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of the My Adventures with Superman podcast, reviewing Season 3, Episode 1, Into the New World. This originally aired June 13th, 2026. The story is by Serena Wu and directed by Jen Bennett. In the aftermath of Brainiac's defeat, Kara and Clark travel to the now expanded Fortress of Solitude so Kara can finally say goodbye to her former captor. She insists on confronting the lingering Brainiac projection alone, severing the last threads of the identity he forced on her, even as he needles her with the claim that she's nothing more than his daughter and not the hero everyone else sees. Back on Earth, the group gathers for the Kent Farms annual Halloween event. Clark, still shaken by how close the world came to ending, has started looking at farmhouses near Metropolis in a school district he's clearly already fallen in love with. Lois doesn't reject the idea outright, but asks him to slow down. Their upbringings couldn't be more different. Clark wants to recreate the warmth that the Kents had given him. Lois is still working through a complicated relationship with her own father, Sam, even as the two of them have only recently started to reconnect. Meanwhile, Kara and Jimmy are settling into their relationship, though Jimmy is quietly bracing for it not to last. He knows there's an entire world and an entire universe for Kara to explore now that she's free of Brainiac, and the last thing he wants is for her to feel tethered to him out of obligation. The Halloween festivities are cut short when Sam tips Lois off about a secret biotechnology project tied to Kryptonian DNA. The group investigates an abandoned underground facility, Project Caliban, and finds genetically modified wildlife and plant life echoing Kryptonian flora. Deeper in, they discover a lab-created Kryptonian clone, raised not as a weapon, but as a son by Dr. George Binder. When Lex Luthor's drone arrives to eliminate the failed experiment, Clark shields him, and the clone returns the favour before escaping into the world, determined to be a hero in his own right. The episode closes on a battered Hank Henshaw, with Lex taking a very personal interest in his recovery. I give this episode a 4 out of 5 rating. Into the New World is a confident season opener that wastes none of its 23-minute runtime, setting the next chapter in motion. It has the difficult job of resetting the emotional board after a finale as explosive as Brainiac's defeat, and it does so by trusting its characters rather than rushing to the next crisis. What I appreciated most is how the episode treats Kara's arc. Her decision to face Brainiac's projection alone isn't played as a triumphant mic drop, it's quieter and more uncertain than that, which suits a character who genuinely doesn't know who she is once you take weapon and daughter off the table. Her empathy for the Kryptonian clone later in this episode, recognizing in him the same engineered purpose she was raised with, gives the Project Caliban material an emotional hook beyond the obvious mystery box appeal. Clark and Lois continue to be the show's beating heart. The farmhouse subplot is a small, almost domestic beat to hang a premiere on, but it works because it's honest about where each of them is starting from. Lois isn't shutting Clark down so much as asking him to recognize that her path to settling down runs through unresolved territory with her father first. Jimmy's maturity about his relationship with Kara was a pleasant surprise. Shows built around a will they won't they dynamic often manufacture insecurity for drama's sake. Here, Jimmy's self-awareness that Kara may eventually outgrow Earth, let alone him, makes their relationship feel more grounded rather than less. The Bizarro setup is the episode's most intriguing thread. Letting Clark protect the clone and the clone return the favour plants the character as a mirror of Superman rather than a villain from the jump, which tracks with how the season seems to be approaching the reign of the Superman material more broadly, as a remix rather than a checklist adaptation. Pairing that with the Hank Henshaw stinger suggests the show is laying multiple Superman-adjacent threats on the table at once, and I'm curious how it juggles them without losing the character work that's made this series stand out. Animation-wise, this is some of the show's best work yet. The premiere looks brighter and more detailed than the back half of Season 2, and the redesigned Superman and Supergirl suits land nicely alongside their live-action DCU counterparts without feeling like a deviation from the show's own identity. If there's a quibble, it's that the episode is so busy laying groundwork, Brainiac's aftermath, the farmhouse, Project Caliban, Bizarro, Cyborg Superman, that no single thread gets to breathe as long as I wanted. But as a premiere whose job is to point in several directions at once, Into the World handles the juggling act well, and leaves me eager to see which of these threads the season pulls on first. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Subscribe to our free Superman homepage newsletter and stay in the loop. Go to supermanhomepage.com/newsletter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any of our new videos.